First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kong. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels represented on the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, the emanation of Vairocana Tathagata, the Akalanata, the immovable wisdom king. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, disciples present here over the internet, and our guest of honors today from the Executive Yuan, the North Coordination Council of North America, Secretary General Daniel Liao, and Mrs. Liao, Dharma Sister Judy. The Chief Secretary of the Taiwan government, Mr. Zheng Pei-fu, and Mrs. Zheng. From Academia Sinica, the academician Professor Zhu Si and Mrs. Zhu, and the legislators Cai Ji-chang's representative, Ms. Chen, from the TPP Party of Tainan City, the Chief, Mr. Cai Wang-chuan's representative, and the council person Xu Hui-yi's from Kaohsiung City's representative. Attorney to the True Buddha Foundation, Mr. Zhou Zhongsan. From the Zhongshan Medical University's affiliated Plastic Surgeons Department, the Chief, Dr. Zheng Zhenglong. From Asian College of Knowledge Management, and the academician Mr. Li and Mrs. Li. From the Zhongshan Medical University, the Dean, Mr. Lai. Welcome. And the professors of the Buddha School, Special Professor Wang Jingxian, Professor Wang Yaozhong, Professor Wang Li, Professor Lin Wenqing, Professor Hong Xinyi, Dr. Yu Jiangcheng, Professor Cai Guoyi, Professor Gu Haoxiang, Professor Ye Suwen, Dr. Liang Caofan, and the medical doctor Lin Jun'an. From the Worldwide Lotus Light Charitable Society, the President, Master Chang Lin. From the Lotus Light Charitable Society of Taiwan, the President Wu. From the PIC Pacific Island Clubs Guam, the representative Ms. Chen. A businessman from Hong Kong, Mr. and Mrs. Lei. And a businessman from Indonesia, Mr. Kwan. From the CTI TV, the producers for the Canadian Sangshinton, Mr. Becca Xu and the producers for the TV programs Platform Sutra and Development Stages of Tantrayana, Master Lian Yue and Dharma Sister Pei Jun.
My sister,
We want to extend our gratitude to the Dean of the Zhongshan Medical University, Mr. Lai.
Thank you for coming. And next week, Saturday, afternoon 3 o'clock, 习武顺。今天呢，先跟大家问好，大家安，大家好。
First, let me say my greetings. Good afternoon, how do you do? In Taiwanese, in Mandarin. Good afternoon, how do you do? In Cantonese.
Good afternoon, and normal, konnichiwa.
In English and Japanese.
Selamat siang, selamat petang.
In Indonesian and Malay.
Kamsahamnida.
Korean.
Channel.
I love you in Korea. I love you in Japanese.
Hola, amigo.
Spanish.
总之大家都好，身体健康。
Wish everyone's doing fine and with great health.
先插播一点广告。
First, I want to do some advertisement.
这个是一个我们以前台湾常常用的这个。
This is like the moon block that's often used in Taiwan. Before, when you ask for consultation in the altar, but this one is rather different. What's the difference? Because this moon blocks here was especially designed by the president of the Worldwide Lotus Light Charitable Society, Master Chang-ren. That these moon blocks are limited edition. How many? There are only 300 of them. They're very special. So let me tell you what's special about them. First, it is unique. Only this kind is unique, the only one. But the moon blocks that you buy on the shops are quite common. This only exists in True Buddha School because inside the moon blocks there are the hair, sarira, of the lineage root guru. And also his Dharma robe inside it. Also had been blessed by the lineage root guru. At the center of the moon blocks, there's the home character. The home character that symbolize attainment or siddhi. That's how special they are. And there are two dakinis, one here and one on the other side. There are two dakinis on the moon blocks. So they belong only to Buddha school. As long as the home is there, it would be very responsive. And there are only limited number, 300. So, first come, first serve. So if you want them, you should go after it right away. And if you buy them, he would donate the proceeds to the Sheng-yen Foundation. So if you want to buy this, you order from Master Chang in Hong Kong. He brought them with him. Is it on the stall outside? Oh, it's at the Buddha Tantayana Association. So he created this for fundraising. Okay, that's the end of the ad. Now let's go back to the topic. Today we had the Homa of Akalanata. And Akalanata in the Japanese Tantrayana is very popular, very common. Inside the temples in Japan, whether it is tantric or not, they would enshrine Akalanata. So in Japanese temples, Akalanata that's the mantra of Akalanata. So Akalanata is the highly revered deity in Japan. And in Japanese Tantrayana, this deity is the most revered. And he was an emanation of Vairocana Buddha, the great Sun Buddha, the Vajra manifestation, very fierce, with great wrath. So the right eye the left eye, because my one is one eye is closing and the other eye open, and the lower lip is clenching on the upper lip. So it looks like you are berating someone. You should not have made such a face normally, but that showed his wrathfulness. This deity, one hand is holding the Akalanata sword, and on this sword there is a phoenix that rises to fire, very special. We know in China So there is a bird species that belongs to the fire, and it's called the fire crow. So in the ancient time they used firebird. So the Akalanata sword is dragon, but the fire that is emitted from it is the phoenix fire. The fire of phoenix, very dignified and very wrathful. So one hand is holding a sword and the other hand is holding the Vajra noose. And there are two marks on the noose. One is to represent the Dharma Dhatu and the other one the Vajra Dhatu. So that means the Akalanata has the Dharma seals of both the Dharma Dhatu and Vajra Dhatu. And Akalanata has a vow. Those that see my body would generate bodhicitta. So anyone seeing his body would generate bodhicitta. And hearing upon his name, you would cut off all evils and perform virtues. And by listening to me, would gain great wisdom. And comprehending my mind would attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. So by seeing my body would generate bodhicitta. Hearing my name would cut off all evils and perform virtues. And hearing me speak would gain great wisdom, and by comprehending my mind would attain Buddhahood in this lifetime. That's a great vow. The mudra is the sword mudra like this, and the mantra is like what I recited earlier. And look at his image. His whole body is blue and radiating phoenix fire. One is holding the precious sword and the other hand is holding a Vajra noose with two Dharma seals. And he is the emanation of Vairocana Tathagata, the great Sun Buddha. Of course, he has great Dharma power. And in Japan, it is quite popular to have this, the 9-syllable mantra with the cutting mudra. This is the sword mudra. So 4 vertical lines and 5 horizontal lines. 4 vertical, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical lines, 5 horizontal lines. You cut 4 and 5 times. The Japanese sword, that's a sword, kung fu, which you cut in the character of rice. In the middle, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal. That's the rice character. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the sword cutting. And for the Akalanata sword, we cut 4 vertically and 5 horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's Lin, Bin, Do, Zhe for the 4 verticals, and Jie, Zhen, Lie, Zai, Qian for the 5 horizontals. Altogether 9 syllables. And the true mudra is like this. Let me show you.
那么你如果以剑印来画四中五横印，师尊特别告诉大家了，我这四中五横印只要一指出来。
When I form this mudra, when I form this sword mudra, it would do the cutting mudra automatically. Automatically. That's automatic. It's done automatically. As long as you move the qi to the fingers, it would do the cutting automatically for this 4 verticals and 5 horizontal lines. When I do that on the disciple, if I do it 5 times, if they do it once, that means the karma is very light. And if the cutting happens 5 times, that means the karma is heavy. Whether their karma is light or heavy, and by performing this cutting mudra, the karma can be eradicated. Sometimes it's karma manifesting in sicknesses. The most basic thing, like if you have a child that's crying in the middle of the night, then according to what Grandmaster teaches, you form this, and on his body you draw 临病斗者列正戒在前, and you form this cutting, and if the child is suffering from disturbances from spirits or ghosts, and when you do this, then the ghost would leave and the child will not cry anymore. So you can use this method to cure the crying child. That's the smallest kind. Now we have lots of doctors or professors from the medical schools. If you form this mudra to a spirit, and if you do it with the qi, and if you perform it 5 times, that means the karma is heavy, and if you only do it once, that means the karma is light. However, because you are performing this mudra, it's the same as you are lighting the fire, like the Homa fire, to burn away all of his karma. And the deceased person or the deceased spirit would be able to go to the Western very happy Buddha country. I don't like to use the Buddhist term for Western paradise. I like to use my own English translation to say it. This is the Chinese English. It's great. So you can use it for minor thing as to stop a child crying, or as major as sending a deceased person to go to the Western very happy Buddha country. So this is the cutting mudra with 9 syllables. So actually the mudra that I form is for this 9 syllable mantra, Dharma, like this. That is the mudra for the Lin Bin Dou Zhe Lie Zai Qing. There are 9 mudras for this, the complete mudras, and then the cutting gestures like. So with the qian, you push with 2 palms. If there is a demon or mara or ghost, when they encounter this 9-syllable mantra, it's the same as encountering Vairocana. So the demons or mara or ghosts are very fierce, but Akalanata, the emanation of Vairocana, is even more fierce. So they would be able to win over the demons or ghosts. So if they have attached spirits or sicknesses due to the disturbances by the spirits, you can use this method. So as soon as you gain spiritual response with Akalanata, that all the negative energy cannot touch you. He's very great Dharma power. He has very great Dharma power. Really powerful. The most powerful deity. That's the Akalanata Heruka. Extremely powerful. So once you master this, and as soon as you gain spiritual response with Akalanata, that would be incredible, because ultimately you would be able to attain Buddhahood in this lifetime with this body. So by comprehending the mind of Akalanata is the same as comprehending your own mind, and then you would be able to emit or generate your own mind. And then you would be awakened and attain Buddhahood directly. So this, the Herukas, or the 5 Heruka Dharma practices, Akalanata, you can do visualization, reciting mantra, enter into samadhi, and do the practice until you gain spiritual response with Akalanata. And then in the future, you would be able to attain Buddhahood of the highest kind. The ultimate goal of our spiritual cultivation is Buddhahood. So the Akalanata Dharma practice can let you attain Buddhahood. So this deity is a truly great Heruka Vidyarajas. The 9-syllable mantra, Dharma practice, and Akalanata. That's the end of my introduction today. Don't miss it. So in our Dharma practices is that if you have affinity with a certain deity or certain Dharma practice, don't be negligent and miss it, and just let it slip by, because it is very precious. If you do the Akalanata Dharma practice and you have attainment in the practice, then you would attain Buddhahood directly. So now we would want to continue on the Great Perfection Dharma. There is an advisor to the Lotus Light Charitable Society of Malaysia, Jinghua chapter. Last night at the Guru Guru restaurant, I don't know what it means, Guru Guru. I think it's Master Hui Jun that asked, or Master Lian Tian asked, why did you name the restaurant Guru Guru? And the manager said, because that restaurant is the tribal restaurant, the native, because when the native Taiwanese speak, nobody could understand. It sounded like Guru Guru. Guru Guru. Two Guru. It was opened by the native Taiwanese. I'm not trying to advertise it, but I went there, and that was a dinner invited by Jinghua Tang's advisor, Jinghua chapters. You know, you said that Secretary General Liao saw the royal blue light. This is the color of the royal blue. So what does this light mean? Does it symbolize anything? Does it have any meaning? And then I told him, this advisor to the Lotus Light Charitable Society, I will speak on it tomorrow. That means today. So that advisor, where is he? Is he inside here? He's right there. Did you ask? So because someone asked, now I would provide the answer. Sakyamuni Buddha too, the same. He only speak when he was asked. Of course, there are also times where he would speak without being asked, but most of the time he would only speak when he's being asked. Then it would become Buddha Dharma. Let me share a joke first. It's quite hot today. So the son and the dad is and the son asked the dad, so did you kneel when you proposed to mom? No. Why? Because your mom said that you don't need to kneel now, you would have lots of chances after we get married. So, in studying Dharma, we should be focused. And in the future, you need to be able to apply the Buddha Dharma that you learned, and there would be lots of opportunities to do so. Even this, the 4 verticals and 5 horizontal cutting mudra and the 9-syllable mantra, that's just an example. There are lots of ways to use them. The same with the Great Perfection Dharma. Once you master the Great Perfection Dharma, there will be lots of ways or opportunities to use them, to apply them. Great Perfection Dharma is very profound, like seeing the light. Today, Grandmaster Lu was riding on a car from Taichung to the Taiwan Lei Tsang temple. On the car, I closed my eyes and entered into meditation. and I saw an infinite number, light of red light. It's boundless and expansive red light.
I say true, not kidding.
So what I said is really true. It's not kidding. It's real. In my meditation, I saw a limitless, boundless red light filled the whole universe. Red light. The Secretary General Liao saw the blue light, royal blue light. And what does it mean? It has a symbol. That's the light of immovability. If you can be totally in concentration and quiet down, totally unmoved, then you would be able to see a royal blue light. So the royal blue light represents immovability. The Akshobha Buddha, the immovable Buddha, is also blue. He also represents the light of the great perfect mirror. So that's the Buddha, represent the Buddha. Or the light of the Dakinis. Blue represents unmoved, immovable. When your mind is totally unmoved, then you would be able to see a blue light. And Grandmaster saw red light. What does it symbolize? Red is the light of my yidam, the light of Amitabha Tathagata. The light of Amitabha Tathagata, what does it mean? Has no limit, no border. That's why Amitabha Buddha is also called the Buddha of infinite light and the Buddha of infinite life and the Buddha of infinite red light. So it is infinite, no limits. For most people, when you enter into meditation, would be able to see red light first. When you see the lights, you know, in Tantrayana it was written that at the moment of death, at that moment there would be a really bright light appeared, and there would be a white light. That's the original light, your intrinsic primordial original light. But if you don't study Buddhism, then you would miss it, because it doesn't appear for long, only for a flash. But with the power of meditative stability and the yidam, you would be able to enter into this white light. Then you would have attainment. But it is a pity most people will not know about that, because at the time of death they already suffer greatly. So when there is a light appear, they don't know that they need to enter into the light. That's how it is in Tantrayana. Let me share another joke. One night, the wife heard the husband crying in his dream, and the wife woke him up and asked him, "What happened? What's going on?" And he said, "I got married again." And the wife said, "Isn't that a good thing?" Don't you want to find another woman? Why do you cry? You should have laugh. And the husband said, because when we entered into our wedding room and I lift up the veil, it turned out to be you. He should have been happy, but it turned out it's still his own wife. So that light is none other, is not anybody else, that is none other than yourself. It's not an external light. So it's the light that you emanate yourself. So today we learn the Akalanata Dharma practice. We all know that the left eye is flinching and the right eye is looking sideways, very fierce, with great wrath. You think that you are subduing or subjugating others? No. You need to subdue yourself. That you are your own greatest enemy. Your habitual tendencies that we are born with, our disposition, all the feelings and emotions, that's something that you need to subdue first. So all your disposition and habitual tendencies you need to subdue first. Your afflictions, your thoughts, that's something that you need to subdue first. So afflictions is because you give rise to your own afflictions. Because if you don't exist, where would the afflictions be? So if you're afflicted, that's yourself, and suffering, that's also you. The one who suffers is you, the one who's afflicted, that's you. There is a doctor, also called Dr. Liao. I asked Dr. Liao, when would my illness be cured? Yes, it will. But will it be recur? Yes. And then he asks you, will your cold be cured? Yes. But will you catch cold again? Yes. So your skin disease, will it be cured? Yes. But will it happen again? Yes. Then why do I want to come for you? And the doctor said, but I need to live on you. Of course, it would recur. But there's only one time that it will not happen again, is when you die. That's what Dr. Liao said. I heard it's a high school classmate of Dr. Zheng Shenlong. They were classmates in high school. I spoke English to Simu. And then Dr. Liao said, I understand your English. You don't have to speak English. And what I said is, he's a crazy doctor. That was fun. In reality, without you, you will not have afflictions. Without self, you will not be afflicted. Without you, there is no bad habits, nothing. Everything is empty. Because there is a you, so there would be problems. This you is the troublemaker. So as a human being, what we need to subdue first is ourself. The rest is other people's business. First we need to subdue ourselves. That's the most important. So the appearance of the light is not external light. Of course, in Great Perfection Dharma, there is the practice of gazing at the sunlight, moonlight, electric light. There's this method. But in reality, what your heart emits is light. The light is emitted from your inside. So the light that you see is the light from inside you, from your heart, from your mind. That's your own light. There's an old man that is very unfit, and he asked the physical consultant, and he asked, I want to attract a young and beautiful woman, so which machine should I use? And the trainer replied, none of these machines would be useful, but instead if you use an ATM machine, that would be more effective. That is an habitual tendency. That is a habitual tendency or disposition, an issue of habitual tendency. Do you like money? Of course.
You like money? Say yes, I like money. 每个人都是这样子讲。I like money. 所以我们的咒语。
Everyone would say, I like money. So the mantra Om Mani Bring Me Home, don't recite it as Om Mani Coming Home. That after reciting it so often, you would have money coming home. That's the habitual tendency. So what we need to win over, to subdue, is our own habitual tendencies. And once you subdue all the bad things, the habitual tendencies, naturally your light would appear. And you don't need to worry what kind of light. Your own light would appear. A lot of people would take these moon blocks and throw it. And it answered yes, which is one up and one down. So two, yes. So this must be good moon blocks. Do you know, when you ask for consultation with moon blocks, and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are sitting right here, looking down, actually looking at the light above your head. If there's just dark smoke above your head, and you ask me to bestow the lottery prize, no, you still have lots of debts. Then instead, I would ask some little ghosts to ask for the debts, so the gods would be able to see the lights around your head, and the gods would be able to see lights. You would only be able to see lights if you practice. So what they see is the light of your body. But if you're all dark or just gray, and you want to ask for fallen fortune, no. Then they would ask the ghost or the two karmic debtors to go after them and get their money back. That's why you need to subdue yourself first. If you subdue your own habitual tendencies and bad thoughts, the light would appear naturally. From where? From our own body. The white light is the light of Vairocana Buddha, the light of the Buddha nature, of the Vajra emptiness that symbolize the Dharma realm. The yellow light is the light of Ratnasambhava Buddha. When you have a perfect merits, that's the light of Ratnasambhava. And the red light is the light of Amitabha. That's the lotus division, and it's the wisdom of the wonderful observation. And if you have attainment with Amitabha Buddha, you would be able to see lights, the red light. And then the green light is the light of the Amuga Siddhi Buddha, and that's the wisdom of all accomplishment. And then the blue light is the light of Akshobha Buddha, is the immovable Buddha. So that's the wisdom of the perfect mirror reflection. So every light is different. An alcoholic went to the winery to interview for a job. So there are many different kinds of wine, and you can try them and decide the alcohol content and the year of the wine. So over 10 kinds of wine, and by drinking it he would know which year it was produced and also the alcohol content. So that's incredible. And the boss just gestured to the secretary. The female secretary took a urine for him to try, and he said, she's 23, pregnant for 2 months, and then he was afraid that he wouldn't get the job, so he said, if I don't get the job, then I would say who the man is. And then all the men in the room said, okay, you are hired. So the alcoholic was very incredible, very amazing. So in your Buddha Dharma study, you need to reach such a mastery. Whoever that come by, and with a look, you would say that, oh, you gained and you lost 99,999. And then the gambler immediately would say, well, how would you know? And immediately he kneeled down, and I'm taking refuge in you. And I would say, never to gamble again. Okay, Amitabha, because you're really incredible. And another person coming by. You ride on a motorcycle and follow the rule. And this week, your motorcycle hit on someone, and then does it really happen? And he walked, and then truly enough he was limping. So if you, in your spiritual cultivation, you reach such a mastery, people would respect you naturally. That people would have such mastery. It's our teacher, my teacher, my guru, truly is such a person. And anyone encountering that would tremble in their heart. So at that time, I was also that incredible. Recently, I don't use it anymore because there are too many disciples. But before, when there was one person coming to my place, I would say that there is a protection talisman in your pocket, and they would say, how do you know? And it is the talisman of the 九天仙女. And then he took his wallet, and then he took the talisman, and truly enough, it's from the 九天仙女. So if you study Buddhism until you can see the aura or the light of a person, that this is a crooked light, or the magnetic field is very chaotic, it's moving. And then immediately you know that this is troublesome. Because the brain wave that's being emitted it's flashing all the time. It's like an earthquake like this. Normally it's like this, and then all of a sudden it's like this, and it's like that. It's like the heartbeat too. When you check the ECG, the heartbeat. Now, get back to dancing. He's gone. So you can tell by looking, just by taking a look, you would know what kind of dance. Or by listening, then you would know what kind of dance it is. So if you are a master at it, then you would be able to do it. So studying Buddhism too, you need to be a master at it. So for me, by taking a look, I would know right away. In the past, someone asked for consultation with the name and address, and I said, this one, you don't need to ask. And they asked why. When is he getting married? Why can't I ask? Because he's dead already. Why do you ask when this person is getting married? You're testing me? You're ridiculing me? At that time, I knew that. So, with the name and address and when is he getting married? And actually, he's dead already. So that's a mastership. That's a mastery. So in our Buddhist study, we need to train so that we would be able to see light and aura. If you can see a blue light, that means you can be in full concentration, unmoved. If you see yellow light, that he is still progressing in his Buddhist study. And if you see an infinite light, then you would know that that's the light belonging to Amitabha Buddha. And seeing the light, you would be able to flow with it. You think of whatever light and the light would appear. So this person can go with it. So a pure, unpolluted light, then that would be white. And all over her body or his body is white. So that's the intrinsic awakening light. So if you see a white light, then that would be a sage, the one that has never been contaminated or polluted. So you need to be able to see the lights. So lights are very, very important. So today I would like to, that's my exposition on the Great Perfection Dharma light. The light in the Great Perfection Dharma.
跟大家讲一个笑话。
Let me share a joke.
发现了浮屠，所以他起他的
Confucius
不是起名字，
found
应该
a
书的名字
disciple,
中庸，中庸。
and his name is
老
Zhong
子
Yong.
发现了浮屠，他起名叫做无为，无为。
And when Lao Tzu represents the Wu,
就起名叫逍
call it
遥。
Wu Wei, and Zhuang Zi represent the Wu Tu and call him the carefree,
非攻
and Meng Zi
不要忘记
represent
如来发
and
现了
call him the
就起名忘
don't attack,
忘了
and Tathagata
世间
found
万事
the
为
and call him the forgetting me.
有些事问得清楚，便是无取。人不可以太近啊，事不可以太轻啊。
So sometimes when you ask, wanting clear explanation, it becomes more and more befuddled. So things you cannot see too close, then it would become fuzzy.
佛的是心情，佛的累，是因为能左右你自己的心情的东西太多。你佛累，
So
就是因为你的心啊，
you live, when you feel tired in your life, it's because you have too much garbage in your heart,
就是要把这
in
些
your
垃圾
mind.
全部拿掉。
So in studying Buddhism, we want to throw out all the garbage.
白光就是
And when you have no more garbage, no more contamination, there would be white light. That's the light of the Buddha.
今天天底下最糊涂的人就是卢世尊。
So today, the person that is most befuddled is Grandmaster Lu.
今天没有那么多的弟子，
If Grandmaster is not befuddled, then he would not have so many disciples.
就是你要看到，你也要装糊涂。
So even when you see, you want to pretend you don't see it.
心中明
Or
白，
even when you hear, you want to be befuddled. Or even when you're clear about it, you still want to pretend that you don't know them.
边走啊，
If you don't pretend
讲法啦，
to be befuddled,
那就讲，我等下讲错了，那就讲。
then you would be
既然那么清楚，
all too busy. And if it's already so clear, there's no need to talk about it. Once you mention it,
底下最糊涂
then the affinity would be gone.
我们那边用。
So the most befuddled person on earth is Grandmaster Lu. Om Mani Padme Hum.